Hello viewers, I am Dr. Mani Gudivada, Reader and Head of the Department of Zoology, Maharajas College, Autonomous, Vijayanagaram. Today I am going to discuss about Southern blotting technique. What is blotting? Blotting is a kind of molecular method. It is a simple mechanism in which we can transfer any kind of molecule from one surface to the next surface. See here you can see the book on which you can see the water. So this water can be transferred onto this paper through this blotting technique. So like that we can transfer the water on the book onto this paper. So this technique is called as blotting. What is molecular blotting? Molecular blotting is a method of transferring DNA, RNA or proteins onto a carrier. So if we want to transfer the macromolecules like DNA, RNA or proteins onto a carrier, we'll do this molecular blotting. But how? How can we do this molecular blotting? Blotting is the process of separating the biological macromolecules by size, usually through the gel electrophoresis. So, by using this electrophoresis method, we can separate these biological molecules like DNA, RNA, and proteins and then transfer them onto a solid membrane. After transfer, we have to do the hybridization. That is, by using a probe. A probe is a molecule that is a perfect match for the molecule of interest and is usually tagged with some sort of color or light to help them identify where the molecule of interest is present. Generally, three types of blotting techniques are present. They are southern blotting, northern blotting, and western blotting. Southern blotting technique is used to detect the DNA in a sample, and northern blotting technique is used to detect the RNA, and if you want to detect the proteins we use the western blotting technique. But today I am going to discuss about only southern blotting technique. So the southern blotting technique, it was named after Sir Edwin Mellor Southern. So he is an English Lasker Award winning molecular biologist, and he is also emeritus professor of biochemistry at the University of Oxford and fellow of Trinity College, Oxford. He developed this technique in 1975. That's why this technique is named after him. So what is the principle behind the Southern blot technique? So the main key to this method is hybridization. Hybridization is the process of forming a double-stranded DNA molecule between a single-stranded DNA probe and a single-stranded target DNA. That means generally DNA is having two different strands which are paired with each other with the help of hydrogen bonds. Thus they are complementary to each other. So if you give a complementary strand, they are going to interact with its pair and form a double strands. That is called as hybridization. So in hybridization, the reactions are specific and the probes will only bind to the targets with a complementary sequence. And the second feature of this hybridization is the probe can find one molecule of target in a mixture of millions of related but non-complementary molecules. So these two are the important features of the hybridization. Now coming to the steps involved in southern blotting technique. Generally there are 9 steps involved in this technique. The first and foremost is the extraction and purification of DNA from cells. After extraction, it is restricted by means of restriction digestion or DNA fragmentation. After fragmentation, they are separated by means of an electrophoresis. This is the third step. After electrophoresis, they are denatured. These denatured fragments, now they are blotted onto a nitrocellulose filter paper. Then this filter paper, it is baked and blocked. And the seventh step is hybridization, which is the important step in the southern blotting technique. And after that, the unbound probes are washed away. And then this nitrocellulose filter paper, it is autoradiographed. Now we'll discuss in detail step by step. The step 1, extraction and purification of DNA from cells. As you all know, DNA is present inside the nucleus. So, to extract this DNA, to isolate this DNA, we have to lyse the cell wall and then the nuclear wall. Then only we can extract or isolate the DNA from the cell. So, for that, for the lysis of the cell wall, first we have to incubate the specimen with detergent, which promotes the cell lysis. The lysed sample now contains the DNA and proteins. So, now we have to separate these proteins also from the DNA. So, these proteins, they are enzymatically degraded by incubating with a proteinase enzyme. So, when we add the proteinase enzyme, then these proteins are also degraded. Then this DNA is extracted. Then we have to purify the DNA. With the help of alcohol, if we precipitate it, then DNA is purified. Now the visible DNA fibers are removed and they are suspended in buffer. So like that, the extraction and purification of DNA is done. The second step is restriction digestion or DNA fragmentation. So the genomic DNA, which is large in size, now it should be cut into small fragments. This is done with the help of restriction endonucleases, which are used to cut the high molecular weight DNA strands into smaller fragments. One or more restriction enzymes can be used to achieve such fragments. And the third step is separation by electrophoresis. So here the method used is agarose gel electrophoresis. So the gel material that is used here is agarose. Agarose powder is used for the preparation of the gel. And after the preparation of the gel, wells are made in the gel. And in these wells, in the first well, the known sequences are loaded. And in the remaining wells, the DNA fragments are loaded. And then as these DNA fragments are negatively charged, they move towards the positively charged anode. The distance they move depends upon its size. The smaller fragments they move farther and the larger fragments they move very slowly and they move only for shorter distances. So like that the DNA fragments they are separated based on their size. And the step 4 is denaturation. As you all know, these DNA fragments they are double stranded. So for making them suitable for hybridization, we have to make them single stranded. So they have to be denatured with alkali like NaOH, sodium hydroxide. If we add sodium hydroxide, then these double stranded DNA becomes single stranded DNA fragments. After that, these single stranded DNA fragments they must be neutralized with sodium chloride to prevent the rehybridization before adding the probe. And the step 5 is blotting. This is the important step in the Southern blotting technique. So the denatured fragments are then transferred onto a nylon or nitrocellulose filter membrane by placing the gel on top of a buffer saturated filter paper. See here you can see the Southern blot tray. In this buffer is poured and in this one plastic support is taken above which we have to place the filter paper bridge and on which we have to place the agarose gel in which the DNA fragments are present and upon which we have to place the nylon membrane or nitrocellulose filter paper and on which we have to place the stack of filter papers or paper towels and then upon which we have to place the weight. So the technique behind it is the capillary action. So these fragments, DNA fragments which are present on the gel, they are pulled towards the nitrocellulose filter membrane by capillary action of the buffer and result in the contact print of the gel. So like that blotting of DNA fragments onto the nitrocellulose filter paper occurs. And the step 6 is baking and blocking. The nitrocellulose membrane is removed from the blotting stack and the blot is made permanent by baking in a oven or in a vacuum by drying at nearly 80 degrees centigrade for 2 to 3 hours. Otherwise by exposing to UV radiation we can make it permanent. Now this membrane is treated with casein or bovine serum albumin. So which saturates all the binding sites of membrane and blocks the non-specific binding sites. So this blocking is done to prevent the background noises. And the step 7 is hybridization, probe hybridization. The DNA bound to a membrane is then treated with a labeled probe. So the probe DNA, it is labeled so that it can be detected easily, usually by incorporating the radioactivity or by tagging the molecule with a fluorescent or chromogenic dye. The label probe contains the complementary sequences to the gene of interest. Now this probe, it binds with the complementary DNA on the membrane, since all other non-specific binding sites on the membrane has been blocked by the bovine serum albumin or casein. So like that hybridization occurs, probe hybridization occurs. And the next step is washing of unbound probes. So after hybridization, the membrane is thoroughly washed with a buffer to remove the probes that are bound non-specifically or any unbound probes are present there. And the step 9 is the autoradiography. If the probe is radioactive or fluorescent, the particles emits when exposed to the X-ray film. So there will be dark spots on the film wherever the probe is bound to the target DNA, or by the development of a color if a chromogenic detection method is used. So like that we can detect the target DNA. Coming to the overall Southern blotting technique, here we are extracted the DNA from the DNA sample, and they are made into fragments by restriction endonucleases, and then these fragments they are electrophoresed. So by this agarose gel electrophoresis, they run into fragmentation has done, and they are separated. Now this they are treated with the alkali, so that these double stranded DNA they become the single stranded. Then these the next step is the blotting step, where we have to blot this gel, the bands which are present on the gel, they are blotted onto the nylon filter membrane or nitrocellulose filter, and then this is the replica of the DNA on nylon filter. So it is the replica of the gel, replica of the gel. Now the next thing is probe hybridization. So probes, addition of radioactive probes are done, and they are complementary pairing of the probe with the target DNA. Here we can see the three dark bands, and then we have to do the autoradiography where we can see the emission of these bands. So this is the recap. Genomic DNA by restriction endonuclease, it is cut into small fragments, then they are electrophoresed. Then you can see from high molecular weight molecules remain there, low molecular weight DNA fragments move further, and then it is blotting technique is done, and then they are blotted onto the nitrocellulose filter paper, and then radioactive probe is added, and then this hybridization takes place, and then they are exposed to the X-ray film where we can see the this emission of the rays. Now coming to the applications of the Southern blotting. So Southern blotting is generally used to detect the DNA in a given sample, and to isolate and identify the desired gene of interest it is used. Generally, to identify the mutations, deletions, or gene arrangements in the sequence of DNA, we use the Southern blotting technique. In the same way, for the prognosis of the cancer and also for prenatal diagnosis of the genetic diseases, this Southern blotting technique is used. In the same way, RFLP maps in the preparation of RFLPs, that is restriction fragment length polymorphisms, which are nothing but the molecular markers developed for genetic mapping. So they are also prepared by the Southern blotting technique only. And also for the diagnosis of infectious diseases and AIDS, HIV, like that we use this Southern blotting technique. In the same way in DNA fingerprinting also, for paternity and maternity testings, if we want to know who is the father or mother of a particular child. If we want to know that, then we have to do this Southern blotting technique. And also for the criminal identification, to identify a criminal person, we'll use this Southern blotting technique. Even in forensics, they will use this Southern blotting technique. And also for personal identification, the Southern blotting technique is used. So like that, the Southern blotting technique, it has a wide range of applications. Now coming to the advantages and disadvantages of Southern blotting. Coming to the advantages, it is an effective way to detect a specific DNA sequence in a large complex sample of DNA. If we want to detect the target DNA from a large sample, we can use this method, Southern blotting method. And also, it can be used to quantify the amount of DNA that is present. And also, it is very cheaper than the DNA sequencing method. Now, coming to the disadvantages. It is more expensive than most other tests, and it is complex and labor intensive, and it is a time consuming and cumbersome technique. Hope you have all understood the Southern blotting technique. Thank you.